Hello, beautiful mamas, and welcome back. In this session, we're going to be doing a full body mobility routine, all in supine position. So all we're going to need is a yoga mat. Let's start laying on our back, making sure that we plant the feet same distance apart, so about a little bit wider, that hip width apart. And we're going to start with some breathing. So here I want to make sure that my back is not arching. There is no space here. I tug the pelvis forward, bring the lower back flat. And on count 4, I'm going to take a deep inhale, hold for 2 seconds, and exhale. With each exhale, I want to imagine how you squeeze your abdominal muscles and bring the ribs down. So if on inhalation you felt that your rib cage is coming up, we're going to bring it down, bring the ribs together and keep them here for a few seconds. So as you exhale, you want to add this extra squeeze at the bottom. Let's go on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. The last one. 4. Exhale. We're going to continue with 4 more reps. 4 seconds inhalation, 6 seconds exhalation. You're making sure you really contract that abs. And we're going to add 8 seconds hold. You're going to hold that tension in your abdominal muscles, really visualizing how you're bringing those abs together. And we're going to add a little bit of vaginal contraction. So it's like a Kegel exercise, just for 8 seconds hold at the end. So expanding for 4, exhaling, bringing ribs together, bringing abs together, holding for 8, additional contraction as a Kegel. Let's go. Inhale in, 4, exhale out. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Perfect. 3, 4, exhale out. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Release in. Exhale out. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One more. Inhale in. Exhale out. Push. Contract and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Squeeze. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very good. So that's gonna be our go-to exercise. We're gonna be engaging our core throughout our practices. We're gonna keep that sort of slightly tucked, slightly contracted form throughout our workout. So let's begin our main part of the session by swinging our knees side to side. So we're keeping our feet on the ground. Again, making sure that back stays flat. We're not arching our lower back. Slowly lowering the hips more towards the floor. Perfect. Trying to keep both hips on the ground as the knees coming towards the floor. It's kind of a gentle massage of the glutes against the floor. If you're on a yoga mat, beautiful, perfect. Perfect. Now let's open both knees to the sides in a butterfly pose and come up. Let's add breath. As we come down, we inhale. A little bit arch here. Exhale, bringing them together. Inhale. Exhale. Perfect. Again. Exhale. Perfect. Right now, let's cross our legs and shift both hips to the side, creating then nice and long stretch on the glute, extending the arm straight 45 degrees, or we can keep it in a cactus. I really want you to feel this nice stretchy sensation in your hip. And let's take a couple of deep breaths here. Pressing down that shoulder, deepening in that spinal twist. Let's do one more in. Exhale. Perfect. Coming back to center, switching this side. Now my left knee comes on top of my right, and I'm bringing them both on my right side, creating the spinal twist, looking in the opposite direction, looking towards your elbow. Couple deep breaths here. Beautiful. We're gonna switch this side and do this once again. So I'm placing my right hip on top of the left. I'm creating the spinal twist, extending. Actually, this time I would want to add additional tap into my glutes. So I'm already feeling quite a good stretch here. So I'm gonna bring my hand into a fist and whip up my glute a little bit. Going into the hip, onto IT band, we tend to hold a lot of tension in here. So you might find it as a good release. One more deep breath. And let's switch the side. Bringing my left hip on top of the right, bringing them down to the floor, trying to keep both my shoulders on the ground and bringing my hand to a fist, tapping my left glute all around, going a little bit up, down towards the hip, and on top of the IT band here. On this side, if you feel like you want to stay here a little bit longer, please feel free to do so. And we're going to come back to center, plant our feet on the ground, tug the pelvis, and let's slowly, vertebra by vertebra, starting from the tailbone, we're going to lift our hips up, squeeze the glutes here, keeping that contraction in our core. Maybe add a little bit of a contraction in your pelvic floor. And what we're gonna do, we're just gonna do a few glute bridges, except we're gonna focus on breathing, bringing our spine down vertebra by vertebra. So it's sort of like a spinal wave. So I'm gonna start with each vertebra down my spine where my tailbone lands the last. Perfect. And I'm gonna come up, tailbone goes first, curling the pelvis forward, coming all the way up, squeezing the glutes and lowering down. Perfect. This is a spinal articulation exercise, which is crucial for any postural training and very beneficial for postpartum recovery. So again, tailbone first, exhale, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the core, and bringing down, inhale. Coming up, exhale, squeeze, and inhale, come down. Beautiful. Let's come up once again. Hold for a few seconds. And what we're going to be doing, we're going to be tapping the floor with one glute at a time. So I'm going to lower down my right glute, tap the floor, come back up. With the left one, come back up. We're going to go for 8 more. Squeeze at the top, lowering glute, squeezing at the top. Very good. Right butt cheek down, squeeze. Left down, squeeze. Trying to create as much rotation in the hips as we can. We have 2 more. And inhale, squeeze. Exhale, down. Inhale, squeeze. And the last one. Exhale, down. Inhale, squeeze. Perfect. You feel a little bit more contraction in your glutes. You feel like it was a bit of strength exercising. We're going to have one more exercise like this. Let's bring knees to chest for now. Make sure that there is no straining in the lower back. That's why keeping that pelvis stacked is very important. Let's plant our feet on the ground again, a little bit wider than hips. We're gonna tag the pelvis, bring the hips up, and we're gonna try, maybe place your hands on top of your hip bones. We're gonna bring up the knee one at a time. I would even come up on the tippy toes. I think that's gonna be much more convenient. 1, 2. Here, I want to make sure that you're not dropping the hips. So both hips staying parallel to the floor. 3. Perfect. 4, 5. Keeping the ribs and the hips square. 6, 7. Keeping that contraction in the core and in the glute. 8, 9. And the last one. 10. Beautiful. Slowly lowering down the hips, tailbone last, knees to chest. Let's rest a little bit. And we're going to add one more variation of this exercise before we move on further. Coming back into our proper glute bridge, tucking the tailbone, bringing the hips up, contracting the core, squeezing. This time we're going to bring our hip up in a tabletop and thread through. Bringing up and thread through. Let's go together. 3, 4, 5, keeping the hips up. 6, 2 more. 7, ooh, and the last one. 8, and through. Perfect. As we thread through, you can touch the ground. You can slide it down on the floor, or you can keep it up in the air, depending on what your body is allowing you at this point. This is very hard exercise, especially at the beginning. It's we're slowly regaining the strength in our hips, in our glutes, in our core. So this exercise requires so much concentration. If you feel like this is too much, please feel free to skip, go back to the previous variation that we just did, or just rest on the yoga mat before we move on to the next section. So we have to finish our left side, tucking the tailbone, bringing it up, squeezing the glutes. You can always control your hips by placing tips of your fingers. I love to do it because I tend to lower my hips as I go down. So I'm going to keep them here so I have more control. Lifting up the knee and threading through. We're going for 8, 2. Remember to breathe. 3, 4. Beautiful. 5, 6. Keeping the hip open. 7. Make sure you're not dropping it down. And the last one, 8. Perfect. Coming down, bringing knees to chest, allowing the lower back and glutes get a little rest and restoration. And let's come into a tabletop position. This is the last section of this practice. Here we want to make sure that our shoulder is over our wrists and hips on top of our knees. We don't arch, don't round. The spine is neutral. Let's add extra contraction, a little bit more tension here in our core. So let's open the knees a little bit wider and slowly shift hips side to side. Feeling a little release in our adductors, in the inner thighs, side to side. And then let's add this circular movement, pushing hips back, bringing them to the side and pushing forward. Slowly, we're going to be increasing the range of motion, coming a little bit more to the side, a little bit more forward, and pushing back. Remember to breathe and keeping that tension in the core. And let's switch the side. Perfect. A couple more circles. Really dropping the hips sideways, pushing them back. Perfect. Coming back to a tabletop, we're going to do a few spinal waves by dropping the hips back, arching our back, and tucking the pelvis forward, coming forward on the rounded spine. So it's sort of a cat-cow, except we're going to add this push back with the hips and coming forward. Arch on the way back, round on your way forward. Inhale and exhale. Let's go 3 more times. Exaggerating. Adding more arch. and more roundness. Almost coming forward to cobra. And let's come here to cobra and rest here just for 8 more seconds. Take a few deep breaths. You can come down on the elbows if this is more comfortable. And let's make our way to tabletop. We'll do a few spinal rotations. We will be bringing our arms up, fully rotating the torso to the side, aiming for 180 rotation. And we're going to add breath. Exhale as we open in. Inhale as we back. Perfect. Let's go 8 more from here. Open and close. Close and inhale and exhale. Perfect. 2 more. 1 more on each side. And the last one. And let's finish in a downward facing dog. We're going to start by paddling our feet. Whichever variation of downward dog you'd like to do. It doesn't have to be perfect. Here we just want to stretch our posterior chain, our hamstrings, our calves. Paddling the feet. And what we're going to do, we're going to press the heels down and come back to tabletop with slightly elevated knees. So here I want you to focus on zipping up the core and really squeezing as we come down. So it's going to be inhale, exhale, in, exhale, making sure the knees are not touching the floor. Let's go. 3 more. 2 more. And the last one. And that's everything for today. Amazing work. Take care of yourself, and I'm going to see you in the next practice.